there, and welcome to another episode of Regular Beer Reviews, where regular doesn't refer to the beers being reviewed, but to the reviewer, myself. I'm Jesse, and tonight I'm going to be reviewing a beer that I have had countless times before. This is Sam Adams Boston Lager. I've been wanting to do a review on this beer, but I usually, I never think about it when I buy it, but it always comes, they always put a couple of their Boston Lagers in the seasonal variety packs. And I just picked up the spring pack, and there was a couple of minute, and so I figured now's my chance. I'll do it. So anyway, let's look at the numbers on this beer. From Beer Advocate, it gets 85, which is very good, and that's with 5,725 ratings. Rate Beer gives it a 67 overall with a 97 for the style. The Bros give it a 90, which is outstanding. It has an ABV of 4.9%, a year-round availability. The style is a Vienna lager or an amber lager, and I'm not sure what the IBUs on this beer are. Let me just go ahead and read the description here on the bottle. It says, "You're drinking the first beer I made. The recipe came from my father's attic in 1984. It tasted the same then as it does today. Flavorful, full-bodied, and well-balanced. It was a revelation in taste, and it started a revolution in craft brewing that continues today. Cheers." So, let's go ahead and get this poured. I'm just going to use the tumbler. I don't have the Sam Adams, the fancy glass with the bulb thing on it. I've been meaning to get it. You can order it from the website, but I haven't gotten it yet. Alright, let's get an appearance on this. It is a nice, golden, very light amber color, loads of carbonation streaming up there, very clear, with a nice, I'd say, half finger head, slightly off-white, looks kind of frothy. Let's go on ahead and get a nose on this. It smells hoppy. Floral hops, very floral, a little earthy. The malts are pretty bready. There's a little bit of toffee in there though. Slightly, ever so slightly sweet. Maybe some citrus in there, a little bit of citrus. Maybe some other kind of fruity components as well. Maybe some hints of like apple or something. Yeah, just smells like a good beer, so let's go ahead and jump into this one. Yeah, that's the way a lager should taste. You know, I drink a lot of these macro lagers, and you know, when I go out, which actually they have Sam Adams at a lot of places, but I'm cheap a lot of times. I do end up getting the cheaper beers, and they're shit. They really are. I mean, they're watery, they're bland. But this is how a lager should taste. I mean, Budweiser and Miller and all these companies, they try to put out these more flavorful lagers, and really all they are darker, like Black Crown and stuff, and all they are darker in color, but they don't have the flavor profiles to match. Sam Adams has been this way since the beginning. This is a good beer. This is what a lager should be. The closest that I've had to a good lager is I did a review on it. Coors came out with their Batch 19. Now, Batch 19 isn't nearly as good as this, but it does remind me of this. It actually has a nice hop character, and you know, has a good profile in that sense. But either way, though, this is probably one of the best mainstream lagers, so to speak, that you can get. This is a good beer. It has really good flavor. That's sweet. Again, toffee, maybe a little caramel, a little darker malt there, a little caramel. right up front. It's not overly sweet by any means. It's just slightly sweet, but it's right there at the front. And there's a really fresh brightness to it. It's almost like citrus or something. There's definitely a fruitiness there, and then it rolls into like a nice floral hop with a nice bitter finish. It's probably, I would say, maybe 30-35 IBUs. It's not very high in IBUs, but there's definitely a nice bitter finish there, and it's just a refreshing beer all the way around. It's simple. It's very simple. It's certainly not really complex, but it's really really good. I mean, hell, if I could afford it, this would be my staple lager. I mean, it really would. This is a good beer, and at 4.9%, it's extremely sessionable. I mean, this is almost. I mean, this is like half a percentage less than Budweiser or something. So you can have way more of these and not, be totally wrecked. This is a good beer and drinkable. I mean, it's 10 times more drinkable than any of those crappy macro adjunct lagers. I mean, Sam Adams, a lot of people tend to look at him as kind of macro because they are such a big company, but they still, I feel they still take a lot of pride in their work, and they still put out, they have a passion for what they're doing, and they still put out a lot of really really quality beers, and this is no exception. This is their flagship beer, and I mean, you can see why when you drink it. This is a good lager, and it's a good flagship beer for them. I mean, when you have a good beer as your foundation, I mean, there's really no limits to what you can create. That's why they have so many beers that they're always putting out. Um, but this is definitely a good beer. I like Sam Adams Boston Lager. I'm going to give Sam Adams Boston Lager an 8 out of 10. Lagers aren't my favorite, but this is a really good beer. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for Sam Adams Boston Lager. I like this beer. Um, Usually when I go out to the bar or something, I'll have like one or two of them when I'm drinking, but a lot of times, I mean, I hate to admit it because I do hate the big macro brews, but a lot of times I drink those because they are cheaper. I mean, they taste like water and they're not good, but hey, but yeah, I mean, if I could afford it, this would be my staple lager, no questions asked. Which I mean, a lot of times, I'll get, but the reason why these are more expensive is because they put more, they're not as mass produced. They use quality ingredients. Not only that, but they take better care of their employees too. I mean, there's not as many of them, granted, because again, they're not macro producing the beers. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. Point is, Sam Adams Boston Lager gets an 8 out of 10 from me. It's a damn good lager. I like this beer. Thank you for watching, and keep watching again in the future for more reviews. Prost.